Now I'm recording. Okay, Daniel, what is highlighted in my diagram? What did I trace and highlight? Angles or sides?
Sides.
All sides. They didn't give me any information
So
about
it's,
any angles.
oh, so it's
Yeah, so it's side, 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 exactly. It's SSS. Because they didn't, the definition of congruent triangles is trying to, that's the one that's trying to confuse you. Definition of congruent triangles, you can only say that after you've proven that they're congruent. I haven't proven that they're congruent yet, so I can't say they're congruent until I proved it. And the only way to prove it in this case is using SSS.
So it's basically the CPCTC, or is that something different?
So are you asking if CPCTC is the same as definition of congruent triangles?
Yeah.
Kind of. It's kind of hard to explain, but what I'm going to say is that this is kind of like a fake definition. There's not really a definition of congruent triangles, because in order for triangles to be congruent, you have to prove it, right? So if all you're doing is proving it, you can't really like say that there's a definition for it, because you have to prove it to get there. Okay. Emily is saying she's confused which one to use. Would anyone like to explain why I chose SSS?
I can explain. Well, I can try. Okay. So basically, each theorem tells you what to look like. So when you're doing the SSS, you're looking at all the sides. When you're looking at the SAS, you're looking at a side, an angle in the middle, and then the side. And then when you're looking at ASA, you're looking at an angle, a side, and then an angle. So you have to look for these things in the triangles.
Right. And in this case, in my triangle, the only thing I highlighted was line segment AD and line segment BC, line segment AB and line segment DC, and then line segment AC is congruent to itself. So one way you can visualize this is, what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of like tear these two triangles apart, and I'm going to separate them. So I have triangle ABC, and this will take a moment. So there's triangle ABC. I just took it apart. Here's A, here's B, here's C. And then I have the other triangle, which is triangle ACD. Okay. I didn't make them perfect, but I'm trying. So that's A, D, C. Okay. The only thing I know about these two triangles from the information they tell me in the problem, the only thing I know is that BC is congruent to AD, AC is congruent to AC to itself, and then AB is congruent to DC. So in these two triangles now that I kind of took them apart and you can see them on their own, the only thing that I know is congruent to itself are the three sides. I don't know anything about the angles. I don't know anything about angle A. I don't know anything about angle B. I don't know anything about angle C. And I don't know anything about angle D, because they haven't given me that information. So you can't assume that the angles are the same, because they haven't told you. The only thing you know for sure is that all three sides are congruent to each other. So that's why the only theorem that I can use is the SSS theorem.
Wait, miss. Was the typo definition of congruent triangles?
No, that wasn't a typo. It was just it's a fake definition. That
then
is
where
indeed
was
a-
the typo?
I caught right here. In the given, they wrote AC instead of AB.
Oh,
Okay. Any other questions about this one? Yeah, so if it was SAS, let's say in this problem, we knew three things. Let's say we knew side A, B, and BC. And then let's say they told us that angle B is congruent to angle D. If they told us that in the problem, then we would be able to know that it's SAS because I have a side. This is my side. This is my angle. And this is my side. That's SAS. Do I have an eighth period? Yes, I do. Okay. So let's do another one. Let's do the second one. I do want to make sure I get to everything. All right. So this was like the first one was like a medium. The first one was an easy one. This is a medium one because now we don't have a word bank. So now let's see what we can do with it. All right. So given XZ is the perpendicular bisector of WY. So I'm going to highlight it. And again, if you guys have colored pens or something at home, that's really, really helpful. So XZX or XZ is congruent to WY. That's my first statement. Then what do they tell us? Can anyone read the second statement for us? Nice and loud.
wait, where?
So I'm looking at the second statement so I can figure out what the reason is going to be.
Oh, wait, how do I say that?
The measure of?
Oh, the measure of angle WXZ is equal to the measure of angle YXZ equals 90 degrees. Line segment WX is congruent to line segment YX.
Okay, so they tell us two things. They say the measure of angle WXZ, so this one, is congruent to YXZ, this one, and both of those are equal to 90 degrees. How do I know that?
The definition of right triangles.
Close, not the
Also
definition of right triangles, but what?
a regular triangle.
Nope. Remember, things have to go in a specific order that follows what you already said before. So what did they already give us before?
The definition of a perpendicular bisector.
There it is.
Janelli said that, by the way.
Good job, Janellis. So yes, since they told us I have a perpendicular bisector, that means I know that I have a 90-degree angle. I also know that WX is congruent to YX. So both of those things tell me that, or the reason for both of those things is definition of a perpendicular bisector. Okay. Next, they're saying that WXZ is congruent to YXZ. Okay. All right angles are congruent. Cool. And then they say that XZ is congruent to, I don't know why there's an A there. I think that was another typo. Okay.
So many typos. It's
There really
okay.
are. It's okay. So yeah, they're saying that XZ is congruent to itself. Perfect. Oops. And that's the reflexive property. And now, before anyone answers this last part, I'm gonna bring it back to Emily, because now, Emily, take a look at these two triangles. What three things do I know are congruent between those two triangles? Which property could I possibly use? And I know you want to answer, Tyrone, but let's give Emily a chance because I want to make sure she understands it. Yeah, you got it. SAS. Perfect. Sassy. Yeah, because all I know is I have one side, I have another side, and I have the angle in between. So that's SAS. I love how encouraging you guys are. That makes me really happy to see when you cheer each other on. That's really nice. Any last questions on this one? We have just one more. Daniel, you're like losing patience over there. All right. Here's a challenging one. This one's challenging because it has no clues, no explanations. You can't even get one right because they give you the easy one. So you can't even do the easy question. And the reason it's hard, Eric, guys, like I've said, I'm saying it and I keep saying it. Right now, during class is the time to ask those questions, get questions wrong so that I can fix it and you get it right next time. I want to make sure I'm giving you lots and lots of proofs because they will come up on a test and we have to know how to deal with them. But the more we do, the more we're going to get used to it. And you're going to start seeing patterns that it'll just become second nature, I promise. You're going to see those patterns all along. So here we go. Let's do this. Don't be afraid of the proofs. Okay. Can I have a volunteer tell us what we are given so that I can highlight it?
Line HI is, wait,
What's that symbol mean?
parallel?
Yeah, parallel.
Line segment HI is parallel to line segment KL. J is the midpoint of line segment HL.
Perfect. So I'm just, right now, all I'm doing is highlighting my diagram. Okay. Next up, can I have a different volunteer tell us statement 2 so that I can highlight it? Who can read it?
Me, because
Tyrone, I know, but let's have somebody else, someone from home. I have Daniel, Alejandro, Emily, Jalen, Samaj, Eric. Come on, somebody read statement 2.
Mining.
Ms. Lopez.
Mm-hmm.
So the second one is not the midpoint?
Given.
The second one is not the midpoint. What do you mean?
Like the reason that HJ.
Well, okay, I was waiting for someone to just read this statement.
Oh,
HJ
I
equals
thought you said
JL.
that it was in the midpoint. I was like, what?
No, I didn't say that. Okay. HJ is congruent to JL. All right, so let me highlight HJ and JL. Here's HJ.
That is given.
Here's HJ.
Well, not given, proven.
Here's JL. Okay, so yeah, it's not given to us, but how do we know it's true?
There's a right angle between H and J, and the same between J and L, and the sides between H and I, K and L are the same.
But I don't know that yet. I know that, but I don't know that. You know
Like,
that.
you know that there's right angles.
We know that, but we have to pick the right reason, Daniel. So that's the thing is like, I know, and you know, I know, and I know, I know, and you know, I know, but they don't know what we know.
Okay, that makes sense.
That makes sense, right? So we have to prove to the paper and the quiz and the tests what we're thinking in our head.
The paper doesn't have a brain.
No, it doesn't. So you have to prove to it. So how I know you know that these two are congruent because it's obvious. But what's the actual reason that I know that they're congruent? And anyone can jump in here.
It's a
One of the
definition.
reasons is because there's a right angle. I know that.
Okay, you might know that, but you don't know that for sure. I don't know if
It's
that's
Definition of
literally a right
midpoint.
angle.
which one? Which one is a right angle?
What are you talking about?
H-I-J
This one
and
right here?
JKL.
Is it the
Yes.
definition of
Do
a
you,
midpoint?
hold on, do you have a protractor with you, Daniel? Are you hiding your protractor somewhere? Because I didn't see you measure that angle. How do you know it's 90 degrees?
He be cheating.
How do you know? You don't, is the thing. You don't know. It doesn't tell you, so you don't know.
There's straight lines
Okay,
at a
well,
90-degree angle.
this is a straight line too, and that's a straight line too, but I don't know for sure if that's a right angle. You can't assume those things. You just can't. I know you want to, and it looks like a right angle.
Then let me get my protractor out.
You go do that while somebody else tells me, why do I know that HJ is congruent to JL? Tyrone.
It's 90 degrees.
Tyrone.
I want to say definition of a midpoint, but I don't know.
That is correct.
Yay.
It's 90 degrees.
Definition of a midpoint. So I know that since they told us that that is the midpoint, that's the definition. The midpoint cuts that whole thing in half. Then I know, okay, then they tell me that IHJ, so angle IHJ right here, is congruent to angle KJL right here. Okay. How do I know that?
IHJ is congruent to what?
So I just highlighted them in orange.
Oh,
Because you can look
IHJ
at
is
the
congruent to
you can look at the pattern of the letters and then see that the K has a right
Daniel,
angle,
are you
like the I
okay?
has a right angle, and the
You can look at the pattern of the letters and keep going. What was that?
you can look at the pattern of the letters and tell that the I has the K has the same angle as the I.
Okay. But again, it's not about patterns. And even though it looks the way it is, you have to use your definitions. So I'm extending this line segment really quick. And I'm going to extend this one too to see if we notice something.
I do not know how to say it. I do not know how to say it.
Okay, so I'm extending these and I'm going to extend my green line segment as well. And when I do that, what does this look like to you guys? What do we have here?
A parallel line being cut by a transversal.
A parallel line being cut by a transversal, exactly. And
Transparallel.
And so what does that make those two orange angles to one another? What's their relationship?
Oh, alternate interior.
Alternate interior. So there you go. That is my alternate
Minecraft.
interior
I missed.
angles theorem. Hold up, don't leave yet.
Haha, I stole it by saying Minecraft.
Okay, you have a quiz. I'm gonna make it due tomorrow at midnight.
Yay.
Quiz due tomorrow at midnight. Homework due tonight at midnight. Quiz due tomorrow at
Wait, what
midnight.
homework? The homework that you gave us yesterday?
Yeah, most of you
Thursday.
already, I think everybody except Jalen and Alejandro have to finish their homework, already finished their homework.
Okay, so all I have to do is worry about the quiz. Okay, I got it.
Yes, quiz and homework for those who didn't finish. All right, goodbye guys.
Bye. Thank you for the wonderful class.
Thank
I'll
you
see
for being a
Monday.
wonderful student.
You're welcome.
See you Monday. Bye guys.
Bye.